build-up to this fight was highlighted by the bad blood that each man had for each other. Now, on the one hand, part of me thought that was just a ploy by Dirrell to try to get Plant emotional and drag him into a dogfight. I spoke about how Plant was the slicker boxer with the faster hands and the faster feet, and that Dirrell was going to be looking to land a hard counterpunch. And if he could find a way to get Plant to exchange a little bit, it was going to help him more. But at some point, for whatever reason, man, it became legit, and these guys just straight up did not like each other. And at the very least, Plant felt disrespected. He thought he wasn't being given credit for the abilities that he possessed, and man, did he come out there and show everybody just exactly where it is that he stands, man. And that is at one of the very top of the division. When this fight started, each man was composed, came out there, kind of give you what you expected to see. Plant was showing a lot of lateral movement, working behind the jab, doubling it up, tripling it up, going up and down with it. Great feints, constantly trying to change the rhythm and the timing, changing the speed of his shots up. Dirrell was showing a lot of composure, very calm, very loose. And he just kind of stayed at that steady pace, kept trying to walk Plant down. He was just showing that he was all about the counter shot, just kept trying to find the timing and land big shots. And I'll say this, it did not take long to realize that each man was very sharp. Like, each of these guys must have been putting in a lot of work in training camp. Each man took it serious. Both of them looked good. By the second, maybe third round, you could really see like where Dirrell was at, man. He was throwing some very crisp counters. He looked better than I've seen him in a long time. I mean, he was shooting check hooks off of Plant's jab, shooting check hooks off of Plant's right hand. He wasn't landing everything, but those were the type of shots that you could tell they had bad intentions on him. You could tell that they were keeping Plant honest. They were forcing him to constantly stay on his P's and Q's, because if he slipped at all, he was going to get caught with something big. As the fight developed over the course maybe 5-6 rounds, each man was still kind of staying to his game plan. Each was trying to enforce his will on the other. Not much was happening in the way of adjustments, but I will say this, Plant was getting the better of it. Plant was the guy who was being able to enforce his game plan more successfully. He was the one who was being able to go out there and get done what he wanted to get done. He was landing that jab more and more. He was starting to get that timing and that rhythm in, so his defensive movements were becoming more specific, becoming more effective. Because of everything else that was working, he was starting to open it up a little bit more. He was starting to land some combinations, starting to put the right hand behind things. Like, overall, he was just looking good. He was blocking a lot of shots, slipping a lot of stuff. He was able to get in and out without absorbing a lot of damage. Dirrell hadn't really adjusted too much. He was still trying to land his shots. Here and there, he was getting some things off, but you could see that the fight was, although it was competitive, although things were a back and forth to a certain degree, it was clearly in Caleb Plant's flavor. He was the guy who was winning the rounds. And I thought an interesting moment developed after the 7th. They go back to the corner. Caleb Plant sitting on the stool, and his trainer tells him, Dirrell is just looking to sucker punch you. He can't get off. He's frustrated. And that's such an interesting observation, because you could see that things were going in his favor. You knew what Dirrell needed prior to the fight even starting. You knew that Dirrell was trying to get this into a dogfight. You knew that Dirrell was trying to drag Plant into something. So by the middle of the fight, things aren't going his way. And you see Plant's trainer tell him, man, stay on your P's and Q's. You need to stay locked in. You need to stay focused. This guy's going to try to hit you low. He's going to try to hit you off the break. He's going to try to slip something in. He feels it getting away from him, and he knows that he's going to have to do something. I thought that was some great advice. I thought it was a great way just to try to keep your guy locked in. Now, I'm not going out there and saying that Dirrell's a dirty fighter, but let's be honest with each other. We were seeing a few rough tactics from him in the build-up, but let's be honest with each other. Already in the fight, we were seeing some rough tactics from him. We were seeing a little bit of pushing. We were seeing the forearm a couple times. We were seeing him lean on him. We were seeing him hit at a point when we thought there was going to be a break, when the ref was coming in. Like, he was just trying to drag a lot of things out in there, and I don't knock him. This ain't a tickling contest. They're not out there having tea with the queen, so I get all of that. Great advice in Plant's corner. Way to keep him locked in. Man, and then we saw it. End of the 9th round. What an absolute picture-perfect knockout. I mean, that was the type of shot that is going to be all over the highlight reels. He just steps in with that left hook to the body, and then he dips. Then he puts in a defensive movement, and that was the wrinkle that Dirrell didn't expect. That was the thing that just completely threw the timing off and kept him off guard. Like normally a guy comes in, he dips in, he throws a left hook to the body. He's going to follow it right up with a left hook upstairs. Right? 1-2, left hook to the body, left hook upstairs. It's the type of combination that gets drilled all the time, and it has a certain rhythm to it. I fully believe that was Dirrell. That was what Dirrell was expecting. So when Caleb Plant steps in and he throws that left hook to the body, and then he puts a defensive movement on there and dips, when Dirrell didn't feel that left hook come upstairs, he started to shoot his own punch. Look at that movement. He starts to throw his own punch, and at that point, it opens him wide up, and he gets that punch that he does not expect. He doesn't see it coming at all. Caleb Plant shoots that left hook. It's just a little bit shorter, gets there a little bit quicker, and it has devastating results. It's the shot that you don't see that hurts you, and man, that one, Dirrell did not see that coming at all, and man, after that shot lands, they wave the fight off. He walks back to his corner, and his trainer, again, he tells him something very interesting. He looks at him and he says, "They ain't laughing no more." Think about that. He says, "They ain't laughing no more." That's how much bad blood there was. That's how much disrespect Caleb Plant felt. That's how much they were talking about this to each other in the camp, in the training camp, in the build-up to this fight. This dude is just absolutely laid out. And his trainer tells him they ain't laughing no more. What an impressive performance, though. What an impressive performance. He goes out there, controls the action for the most part against a veteran who came in, did everything he could, came in great shape, just tried to pull a big upset. Caleb Plant wasn't having any of it, man. He looked as better than we've ever seen him. He still showed the athleticism. He still showed the fast hands, the fast feet. He showed the ring IQ. He showed the combination punching. But he also showed a newfound aggression. He also showed a power in those punches that a lot of people did not think he had. It was one of the knocks going into the fight with Canelo, right? We were saying that he didn't have the resume. We were saying that he did not have the knockouts and the power. Now he comes out there and shows some aggression. Now he comes out there, he shows some power. And in the post-fight interview, he says, "Look, I'm here for everybody. I'm going to pick all of these guys off at 168, one by one. I'm getting them all. Then I'm getting the rematch with Canelo, and I'm going to show everybody that I'm the best." What can I say? I don't necessarily think it's going to go down that way, but who knows, man? I have been surprised before. He looked awesome tonight, better than we've ever seen him. I think getting that new trainer made a big difference. Super excited to see what he has next. Super excited to see what he brings to the table, man. I think he could. Who knows, right? Who knows? I mean, we all saw what happened in that fight with Canelo, but at the same time, if he continues to get better, who knows what's going to be down the line for him? Who knows what other people are going to do? I just want to see a fight between him and David Benavidez, right? Just like everybody else, we know these dudes are going back and forth. That's the fight I want to see. Very interesting after tonight's fight. Not saying that he's going to go into it as a favorite or anything like that, but how could you not be more excited for it? So let me know what you guys think. Were you as impressed with this one tonight? Do you want to see him versus Benavidez? Do you want to see him versus somebody else first? I mean, what do you think is going to be next for each man? Let me know what you guys think.